Hey there, everybody. It's Andy, aka Montolio, and we are back for another Vintage League, and we're going to be playing a spicy one today. This is Lurrus Doomsday, and this is a deck that is championed by MTGO user Subasa Cat, who has had a substantial amount of success with Doomsday, and in particular, the pioneering of the Lurrus Doomsday deck. I'm not sure whether it was Subasa Cat actually or Reed Duke that originally put this to the forefront. I believe it was actually Reed Duke, but certainly this deck has been refined and championed by Subasa Cat. And we're going to try it out today. Doomsday is a deck that I would say I have actively avoided in a competitive standpoint in Vintage, in that I'm not, I guess, traditionally a combo player at heart. However, I really like the deck. I acknowledge and long have how potent Doomsday is, and it is a hybrid of a deck that I am quite comfortable with, in that I do like blue-black Lurrus. And this deck does have many of the tendencies that I like about the control builds that I often play. It just so happens that this has a combo kill to it as well. And it's a very nuanced deck. And certainly my weakness of this deck will be understanding the combo portion of the deck. And I do ask you to bear with me as we fumble through this league and trying to figure out some of the combo lines that are going to present themselves, as I would say that I am not ignorant to comboing with Doomsday. I have played the deck. Certainly, I've played it in paper amongst friends, and I have played it online a fair bit, but casually, not competitively. And of course, I do understand the basic premises of putting together a reasonable pile, but certainly not at the expert stage that some of the pilots that play this deck are. And of course, I will miss some nuance some number of the time while playing this and cost myself games likely as a result of that. But that's going to be the fun of this league. And yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about the list. I think it's reasonably self-explanatory if you do play Vintage, but at its crux, this is somewhat of a juke from traditional Doomsday, where you don't have Necropotence and Force Street Race in the deck, and you can just win. Like people that have things, you know, Flusterstorms and Spell Pierces and Force Negations can just lose to a Psychic Frog. And where it really is powerful is post board, because you, as an opposing player, you do need to figure out how much removal you want to keep into your deck. And of course, this is a known commodity now in Vintage, and most people that play against this deck do realize that they have to have some number of removal spells in their deck, or they can just lose to the Lurrus Psychic Frog piece of this deck. And for those that don't do that and are just trying to control the Doomsday piles, can lose outright to it. And I think it's I mean, any deck that can juke that way is very powerful. That requires you to split your resources as to how you're attacking the opposing deck. Unable to scream in the sideboard, and actually one main. Cat has one main now, which is not unreasonable given the amount of creatures that are running around. And of course, it just does pitch to Force of Will and Force of Negation as well. But Unable to Scream really gums up a lot of these creature strategies that are running around, and uh, doesn't matter if it's an Atraxa, a Seasoned Dungeoneer, or an opposing Psychic Frog or Bowmaster or something like that. Keep being able to keep them out of the graveyard is pretty powerful, that have recurring Lurrus loops. So yeah, my sideboarding, not 100% sure on some of these things, but we're going to give it a go today, guys. And yeah, appreciate you hanging out. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. See you around one. Okay, we were in queue for 20 minutes. I don't think I've ever waited that long for a match of Vintage, but a very unorthodox time frame for me to be playing Vintage. I don't normally play on a Tuesday morning, but given the snowfall we've had here in Toronto, the city is still pretty shut down. Okay, let's take a look at this hand here. I think that this is fine. I'm going to keep it. I think we won the die roll. No Lurrus. Not really sure what I'm playing against here. I don't think I want another Force of Will. Do they have Wastelands? It's certainly possible. I think I'm going to get an Undercity Sewer to get an extra dig here. Because I have the Sapphire, I have the luxury of... As a matter of fact, I don't mind the other land here. The downside of doing the Undercity Sewers here is, of note, I do have Gush. Narset. So this is likely the Meringue River Regent version. Let's get rid of the Oracle here. They're likely to force back if they have it, because Narset's very strong. They did not. Okay. Oh, I like that. I'm going to leave the Sapphire up here because it cannot be wastelanded. I don't think we're playing against Wasteland, but of note, nice little combo, Gush with Psychic Frog. I don't anticipate myself going in that hard, but it's possible. Mana Vaults, okay. Paradoxical Outcome. I think that's worth flustering. My opponent has tapped down their Mana Vault here. Okay, that's gone. And so we're going to have an opportunity to perhaps Gush here. Okay, down to 2 cards. I do think it's reasonable to look here. I do like the blue card, but almost assuredly I'm going to get into one here. So they have a Synced Stupor. I think we can win here. So the way I'm envisioning this, guys, is I'm going to Gush here, and then I'm going to Doomsday, and then I'm going to draw Ancestral Recall and win. I think that's how this works. An Ancient Tomb. Okay. So we are going to Doomsday. Okay, they didn't make me go through it, but I was going to have it. I think what I was going to do was I was going to get an Oracle, I was going to get a Black Lotus, I was going to get an Ancestral Recall, and I don't think the other cards really mattered too much from here, given that I know their hands. We were going to attack, we were going to draw a card, Ancestral Recall. I was going to recall myself, go down to 1 card, and of course I would have had Black Lotus, Oracle, and likely something like a Flusterstorm or something like that, and just win from there. So okay, clean win. I don't know that we need to do too much here. I could see bring in some force and negations and mind break traps. I don't think Unable to Scream is really what I'm looking for. I do acknowledge that they are likely to have something like Meringue River Regents or Kappa Cannoneers, but I'm going to try and outpace those. I think we could cut days on the draw. I like Flusterstorm. I like Gush. Probably could take out a Dig Through Time. I do like Bobble, but probably not a Oh, I guess I don't have to go down that far. Okay, let's try this. I do apologize. I just ran out of time there, guys. I'm a little bit slow. Okay. Decent. How much do I care about Sensei's top? I think it's fairly reasonable to counter that. The risk is that if I don't draw a blue card here, I could be coming off. I unfortunately do think I need to dig a bit deeper here. That is not ideal. Okay, we did find a force. Okay. Okay, this is great for me. Now, of course, we need some help here ourselves, but we're going to get our Undercity Sewers. We don't want that. Not right now, anyways. So I could pull Lurrus to hand here and move towards Lurrus. But I'm somewhat concerned about coming off of negation here. Now, how much does Tezzeret matter to me here? I mean, I think it's probably worth countering. I don't know that Tezzeret's that good, but given what I'm trying to do. And even if they force back here, like, it's not the end all be all for me. Blue card? Ponder is decent, but I do think that this is an opportunity for me to pull Lurrus here. And I can force if I have to. I will leave up Demonic Consultation if I get into a pinch here. I don't even know what I would go and get, but Time Walk is fine. Do I just take Demonic Consultation for something like a bauble? Like, what could I Demonic Consultation for here that is impactful? Like, I have 2 Mishra's Baubles in my deck, and being able to draw out of this could be relevant. Like, this is kind of a dead card. I guess the question is, do I need to do that? Do I need to put my Doomsday Kill at risk of losing my Thassa's Oracles here? And I want the card to be impactful. So I think I'm going to try this, guys. I don't know if this is correct, and it could cost me. Mishra's Bauble. Like, I guess I could go and get Gush, but that's not as likely. I think I'm just going to get a Bauble here. What did we get rid of? Okay, the Oracle is still alive. Not great. Do I have any fetchable lands? Yep. I mean, if they have a force, there's not much I can do about it. It just is what it is, and obviously the Bauble doesn't look great in that sense. Oh, Oracle, I like that. Or do I like that? Maybe I don't like that because I just used my consultation. Okay, stock up's perfectly reasonable here. I am going to fetch. I don't think I want the Oracle. Okay, so hopefully they pass turn here. I'm going to try and, I guess, kill them here. It's probably not likely to happen unless I find a cantrip, and then I can win. And so we did. I think I have multiple lines here. Let's make sure I do have an Oracle. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to get a chance to do our first line, Doomsday line here. So this is not optimal, obviously, because a lot of my cards are gone already, but we've got Oracle, Probe, Lotus, Force of Will, and do we just want another Oracle? I think so. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to attempt to brainstorm. And they may have a Force of Will here, guys, of note. So if I brainstorm and the brainstorm works, I want Black Lotus, Force of Will, and Oracle. No, that's not good. So I can definitely put an Oracle on the bottom. Could also Demonic Tutor, but I don't think I need to do that. Okay. I think this is fine. And this is where some of my weakness comes in as a Doomsday player, but I think we can put this one away. If this gets forced, my brainstorm or mental misstep, I'm going to draw one card off the Mishra's Bauble. And so I think I want force there on the top. Black Lotus is not as relevant here, funny enough. I don't need Lotus as much. Oracle. No. Yeah, this does work. Okay. Oracle, Probe, Force. Let's brainstorm. Does work. Okay. So I'm gonna have 4 on top. So maybe I did screw this up somehow. Now I can probe. Let's see what they got. They've got nothing. But I'm down to 3 cards here, so I did not actually execute this correctly. And so they're going to stock up, and I'm probably going to lose. Okay, so I did not execute this correctly. So they know that I did not get there properly. So what I think I do is I just unfortunately have to pass. And if I lose this battle with the Ancestral, how bad is that for me? Pretty bad. Oh, they got a negation. Oh, no. And they're going to draw the negation. And they have exactly enough to counter it. Brutal. Yeah, one short, guys. Oops. We got a pass turn. Oh, they're doing it in the upkeep. I'm so lucky. And as I said, this was going to be a process. I guess they stock up looking for a force, or do they sit on negation? Yeah, they just passed. Or conceded, excuse me. So a little bit lucky there. We'll take it. Okay, here we are, round 2. Nice to win the die roll. I think this is fine. It's a little bit risky. I don't know that I would keep this on the draw against a blind opponent, but because we have a force of will here and the Sapphire, I think that this is pretty reasonable. Most people do not counter a Mox, but it is a red flag to sequence without your land first. In my opinion, you want to play your land first to be able to protect the Mox. Should that be your inclination? Are they contemplating forcing this or misstepping it? I would think a misstep is a pretty easy call here because my hand definitely shows to be weak. I don't really want Doomsday. I don't really want Consultation either. I think I'm going to fetch here, and I'm going to get an Underground Sea. Yes, it could be wastelanded, but I just need to start moving towards the ability to Doomsday. And of course, I've taken down Flusterstorm by doing it this way, but I'm going to keep the Mox on top because the Mox allows me to cast the Frog and hold up Flusterstorm still, and I can draw the land following turn. And that way we'll have 3 mana for Doomsday. Monolith is fine. How do I feel about a 3-ball? I don't think I can let that happen. So the problem I'm faced with here is I don't really have a play here this next turn. But I can't really beat a Trinisphere, can I? I just think we have to do it. I'm not happy about it, but obviously I wish I took the land now. I would have perhaps handled that quite differently. Still protecting the fact we're Doomsday. We can win through a ring, perhaps. No, we're not going to be able to do it this turn because I don't have a cantrip, but we're going to be drawing a Misty Rainforest. Oh, interesting. Okay. I could Doomsday here and then set up the win, but I feel like with Undercity Sewers here, I should be able to set up a win the following turn, perhaps. Maybe that's a mistake. And it's like I am able to conceal that I am Doomsday, and so they may be playing a little bit more liberally. Okay, Jewel. Okay, likely a paradoxical outcome here is my guess. Yep, cannot stop it. They are at 9 life here. Bobble, okay. So one of the things that's probably good about me not casting the Doomsday last turn is I would have likely gone for a Gush kill, and Gush would be turned off by Bobble. I don't think I can win here. They are going to Jewel next turn. But it puts them perilously close to death. If they end up needing to use those tombs. I mean, I guess they're still okay. I guess the question is, do I want a Doomsday here? And I think I do. So I don't think Gush is a reasonable thing to do. We might want to put a Time Walk in here. Okay, we need Ancestral Oracle. And I probably will go for a second Oracle here. I probably could do... Well, Force is going to be off no matter what. I could Daze, like Ponder into Daze, but that's shut off with Bobble. And can I get a land and a fetch? Time Walk. So Ancestral, Oracle, Oracle, Time Walk. I don't think I need a counterspell. I could take Gush here as an extra card. Because if they pick up that Vexing Bauble, I don't know that they will. Maybe I just get like a Flusterstorm. I think this is going to work, guys. I know for the Doomsday experts that are watching this, I don't know why you're watching it, but I probably have a substantial amount of complaints about the way I'm playing this, but I think that's fine. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Time Walk on top. I'll put that in hand. I'll draw. Actually, maybe I just put Flusterstorm in top or Ancestral Recall. Yeah, I think I like that. So I'm going to put Oracle, Oracle, Walk, Ancestral, Fluster. I wonder if I want the Time Walk and then the Ancestral. Yeah, I think I like that better. Okay. I mean, we could just very well be dead here. Like my opponent could completely combo us out, but and draw up to a critical mass of counter spells. But there's not much I can do about that. Okay, down to 4, so they can jewel here. So this is where I was talking about the Gush line, is that if they pick that Bauble up, and they probably will. I mean, that's I think how they're going to win here. I could have gushed into like a double Force Hand. So my opponent's thinking here. Another jewel. It's funny as I can't attack them. That's for sure. Okay, time will take key. Just a big PO here. Okay. That's what this is. Okay. Just drawing their deck out here. So we are pretty much dead here. They would have to brick tremendously to lose from here. Time walk, okay. This feels like a pretty tough matchup for me. Mystic Forge, okay. I'm not going to concede because I do think we have a pretty good chance of winning if we get to untap, but there's also a good chance my opponent will have multiple sets of counter magic to be able to circumvent what I'm doing. Another jewel, yeah. Oh, they just have the kill here. Okay. Yep. All right. So I do think we want to consign. I do think we want to steal sabotage. And I do think we want mind break trap and force a negation. Okay, this feels pretty good. Okay, going to keep this. A controlling hand, which is certainly not optimal, but we've got tools here. I think Psychic Frog is a good card here. I need to obviously find another land. It pitches to force a negation if I get into trouble. I think Ponder's all right. Obviously, I wish I had a land, but I think finding a land here is probably the best thing I can do, like versus actually deploying my stuff out. So, um, here we go. So this is going to be a worm coil or a jewel, one or the other, and hope to God it's a jewel. I mean, worm coil, in all honesty, really is fine. But very suspect line, just workshop pass. Like that's really weird. Disruptor flute. Okay. I like it. See if they put it on Doomsday. Hopefully not Psychic Frog. That's Oracle. Okay. Okay, let's get going with the frog here. Metamorph. Okay. I don't like giving the mana here, but oh, let's ponder, see what our options are here. I do like all of these cards. I don't feel like Doomsday is how I'm going to win this, to be perfectly honest with you. They got Dismember here. One, two, three, four, five, six. I guess my question is, do I want a Treasure Cruise here? I will have a Force of Will. I think that's fine as a backup. Get rid of Demonic Consultation. And if I'm lucky, I'll find a blue source, a blue land. I did not. But I have two forces, despite not optimal, and another Psychic Frog coming down. So they're going to put this on Psychic Frog. I'm not crazy about that. We'll get rid of a Dig Through Time here. They got another play here with their double tomb. Nope. Land. Black. So a little bit leaning on Force of Negation this turn. Hopefully they do not play anything. Sink the Stupor. I'm going to redraw the card. Frog. That's the hope anyways. So obviously I could have just redeployed the Frog there and let them have another turn, but I'm reasonably happy countering here, I think. Just a tempo play that replaces itself. Force of Will. Very close to deploying Lurrus here. I think I don't know. Do I come off negation? Probably it's fine to do that because I still have consign up. Okay. Okay. I think Psychic Frog is just the better of the cards here than Lurrus. Obviously, Lurrus hits a bit harder, but I'm just all about taking control right now if I'm able to. I guess I didn't need to do this because they're hellbent. But I'm going to replicate anyways. Just because I can, guys. So we are in a pretty vulnerable state here. Ponder, I think, is a good one. Take a look here and see what we can find. It is a fresh breath of air to be able to play some cantrips. Let's see what we're drawing now. Force of Will. I knew that, didn't I? We're going to see some fresh ones here because we get to draw a couple. Ancestral Recall is a pretty good card. And they're drawing a Black Lotus, which is completely fine. Okay. I like how we're set up here. All right, we got 7 minutes left here. Ooh, this is a nice one. Definitely keeping that. We got a Oracle to stop turn 1 with Force. I mean, I just can't fight over their stuff here. I don't think that is what this deck is trying to do. Yeah, it sucks if they have the PO here, but do I care about the ring? How much do I care? Right, I untap Doomsday. I still have a Force of Will to protect my Ancestral the following turn. But this does draw them 3 more cards. I don't like that. I do think I counter here. I don't have to go all in on the Doomsday here. Maybe I don't. Because I could just win next turn. Okay. Now, if they have something like a PO, it's not good for me. That will force me to Ancestral. But if I can get them with a Steel Sabotage here and then untap, there's a pretty good chance I just win. This does screw me up, doesn't it? Now, I could gush. So what happens is I Doomsday. Gush Probe. Problem is that I don't have Lotus if I let this thing resolve. So it doesn't actually win through this. How much do I care about card? Like the thing is I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to have to win next turn. This could go and get some nasty stuff out of the sideboard, assuredly. We're going to, rather than just gamble with 3 cards off the top here, guys, like this deck doesn't have a tremendous suite of counters. Do I just get an Undercity Sewer here? Like, do I even care about Pithing Needle? What, did I just put it on Psychic Frog? Good draw. I mean, let's go for it, guys. We're getting low on time here. Let's see if we can figure this out. I can just get double force. Like, this deck should not have wastelands in it. Right? I can literally Ancestral into, like, another Force of Will here. And another card. So let's get, like, going to be at 18. I can get, like, a Consign. So first of all, I need an Oracle. And I think Consign. No, Consign is not going to be good because I've already played a land here. So we get another Force of Will and a Force of Will. And then next turn, right, I'm going to Ancestral. Right now, I'm going to Ancestral down to 2 cards. And I'm going to go to 1 card next turn. And we can do like 3 cards in hand right now. So Force of Will, Force of Will. And we'll do a free one, like Mindbreak Trap maybe. And then it'll be Oracle. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think this works, guys. So consign, Oracle, Mindbreak Trap, Force of Will, Force of Will. I'm going to Ancestral myself right now, and we can fight over that. And your go. They only have 3 cards here. Now, I do acknowledge they can go and get something with Karn. Nope. Force. And then if they force back, then we have Mindbreak Trap. Okay. I didn't think of that, but that does whittle me down here. Okay. Doesn't matter. All right. Nice win. Okay. On the die roll. I don't really like double Doomsday or dig through time here. But we can maybe find our way out of it. There are 2 cantrips here. Obviously, the double Doomsday is not optimal. This player did beat me the other day with a sneak attack show and tell brew. Let's take a look and see what we're dealing with here. An Eldrazi Temple. And a strip mine. Good to know about. Let's take a peek here. So a pretty hateful hand. Playing Eldrazi. So a little difficult to combo through Null Rod. I could Doomsday right now. They're going to strip mine me and I will have 1 land left unless well, I'm keeping this. I think it's a interesting as to whether I go for it or not. Definitely going to go through it. I have a, like, if they drop a Null Rod on me and I wait, it's really bad for me. So I'm going for it. So I do like the Black Lotus, but the Black Lotus is not likely to resolve. So they can do one of 2 things to me here. Let's say they don't draw any fast mana here. If they do draw fast mana, what they're going to end up doing is casting Vexing Bauble and stripping me. So that will involve me passing the turn. Go. If they strip mine me, Black Lotus is good. I think what's going to happen here is my opponent's going to get a Vexing Bauble into play. So let's see if I can avoid using Black Lotus here. So let's start. Can we get an Underground Sea? Can we get a Time Walk? I probably will not be able to gush if they Vexing Bauble. So we'll want Ancestral, Oracle, Oracle? So what happens if I do this? Like, it does mix things up a little bit if I have to fetch for the Underground Sea. Like, if they decide to strip mine me here, Vexing Bauble, but then it doesn't really matter that much. So I think this ends up working, right? I can't actually do anything other than like Force of Will. Does that help? Like, do I need a second Oracle here? Like, it's not like they have Force of Will. I don't think I need it. Right? So I get Underground Sea, Thassa's Oracle, Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, and can I just get a Force of Will? Just in case? Or can I go for Lotus? Because Lotus does win here if they don't cast the Null Rod or the Vexing Bauble, and they opt to Wasteland me. How's it look with Black Lotus? So put the land on the bottom. Black Lotus. Next turn, I'm going to draw Ancestral. I mean, I think the Black Lotus is fine. I do think this works. I draw Ancestral. I Ancestral myself next turn if they strip mine me. Yeah, I like this. Because essentially, if the Vexing Bauble comes into play as their line, I don't think there's a lot that we can do about it anyways. So I think it's like this. Now, do I Time Walk next turn or Ancestral on the top? This is very interesting. My gut is that they're going to strip mine me. And if that's the case, then I want an Ancestral. But what if they Vexing Bauble? I'm going to Time Walk. I'm taking a gamble here, guys. I have a feeling they're going to do Vexing Bauble. I've changed my mind. Very interesting discussion point there as to what the best line to do that is. And guys, in the comments, feel free to leave me lines of how you would have done the Doomsday. Obviously, I am parsing through this at the best of my ability here with minimal experience around it, but it's a guessing game, right? Does my opponent strip mine me or do they Vexing Bauble? If they strip mine me, then yes, I don't want the Time Walk on top. I want the Ancestral into the win. But if they do play Vexing Bauble, then Time Walk is the better way to go here, right? Because I'm going to go to 4, then I go to 1, and then I untap and should be able to win. I mean, there's a number of things that could go wrong here. And of course, they could just rip something off the top like fast mana, which screws me on both angles. And so there's ways I lose this. But they may be thinking to themselves, well, if I play the Vexing Bauble, they're not going to be able to use Lotus and win, which is true. Okay, so we made the right decision. Now, whether I set my lines up correctly or not is a different story. Okay. Difference between play draw, right? Okay. Um, Probably need to have some number of unable to scream. Steel Sabotage returns Null Rod back to hand. I don't know if that's actually good or not. Probably not what I'm wanting to do. Honestly, don't know if Mindbreak Trap is really any good here, but if they have an explosive start, it could be. It pitches. This is 60 cards. I guess my question is on the draw, how badly do I want negation? And I mean, like, yeah, it stops some of their big plays. Like, how good is unable to scream is my next question, too. Like, part of me wonders if I can ignore what they're doing. My gut inclination is that I don't really care this much. I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to combo them out. Maybe I do bring in the Sabotage for Null Rod and just bring in a Miser's Negation. Yeah, not 100% sure. Because we should technically just be faster than them from the combo perspective. We're not going to outrace this deck. Now, I've got a lot of stuff here, but I don't have any mana. This just doesn't work, unfortunately. Okay, this one I will keep. Not liking this hand quite as much. Chalice of the Void. Okay. Eldrazi Temple. Pass. Okay. So I can protect the land source. I think I do get a basic island here. It's a little bit risky, but I think given that I have an unable to scream here and oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I think these are good. I think we want the recall. Now, probably should not have put that on into my hand. That was a little bit of a loose play. Because if they thought not sear me here, oh, interesting. What does this mean? So I'm going to end up overdrawing here, but it's just where we are at. How much do I want to do that? I'm at 7. I'm going to go down to 6. I'm at 7. I'm going to go down to 6. I'm going to go up to 9, 8 if I find a land. So I only end up having to discard 1. But if I brainstorm here and find a land, then I can ancestral. I think I like that. And we did. So I don't think I want an oracle. And do I want a doomsday? I feel like I'm still a ways away from doomsday. That said, I could demonic tutor. Oh, I can't actually get it an ancestral here. Mental misstep is likely not very good here either. So I think I can probably get rid of misstep. Okay. Pass. Oh, this is, they have the, what's it called here? The command. Yeah. Chalice is kind of a pain in the butt here for us, but yeah, that's a good one against me. I have to let the trigger resolve first. Now I'm going to fetch. I'm going to ancestral. They're going to wasteland me in response. And then I can snuff out. So probably going to take my Dark Ritual here is my guess. I had to sequence it that way, guys, because they would have took the snuff out from me, which maybe actually would have been fine. Oh, they took Psychic Frog. Interesting. 3 ball. Okay. Can Vampiric for a land next turn. I could Demonic Tutor for a Treasure Cruise. I kind of like that. Oh, I can't Treasure Cruise here though right now. And they also have these commands that could start eating my graveyard. I just need to ensure that I have land. That's the most important thing here. Sabotage can send this thing back. I could Demonic Tutor and Doomsday here. I don't hate it. It's going to be slow. I could double fetch and put an Oracle. I don't know, guys. That's brutal. Literally brutal. Under no circumstances did I think I'd miss there. Okay, at least dig. At least dig lets me dig though next turn. But if they double wasteland me, it's pretty bad. But Oblivion Sower. Okay. So I think against this hateful deck, we're just trying to kill them really quickly. So should this go to a game 3, I think that's the plan. Yeah. I'd love to draw a land off the top, would be nice. We did not. There's the Sabotage. It's a pretty nice thing to set up there. Have to discard. Probably don't need all of these. Probe is going to work just fine. Probably don't need Vampiric. Oh dear. Just this Sower. Feels like it. I'm going to go after my land again. Not much I can do about it. Okay. Yep. So they're going to take my Oracles here. So let's see. There are ways to set up loops without Oracles. With Time Walk, Doomsday, and Lurrus. I don't want to burn too much clock thinking about this, though. I'm not actually sure how viable it is for me to win from here, but So I think what has to happen, so I might need to get Doomsday on the stack, put Lotus in my hand, return Trinisphere. Oh, Lotus doesn't do anything with Chalice. Oops. I don't know what they took there. Okay. I am going to fetch here. I'm going to take a stab on another land. We don't want Doomsday. I'm going to go take a look here and just get a land. Like a fetch, see what my, yeah, so they've left the oracles in there. And I'm just going to get a fetch land here. And that's 7 cards. I can just go again. I guess I could, no, I can't do anything here. Of course, I'm under Trinisphere. Interesting. What I'd love to find is like a force of will to be able to get the, it takes the pressure off of having to win right there. Okay. Not going to fetch because I want the higher chance of finding a land. Not find a land. Okay, so what happens if I return this Dark Ritual? I need another land is what I need. And I get another chance with Gitaxian Probe to find it. And then I can counter it on the way down. I think I should be able to do this. Oh, wait. But no, I can't do it because of the Chalice. But I could gush. I have not played a land here yet. So I do think I'm going to Doomsday. I guess my question is, do I want to use the probe here first? They shouldn't be able to kill me straight up. I guess the question is like, do I need a land here first? It really does help, but I guess I can put Gush in my pile. Yeah, okay, so I think we might be able to do this. Can I actually do this? No, because of the Chalice. But I should be able to set it up next turn. So we definitely want Gush. We want Oracle. Do I want a Time Walk? Probably want to Force a Will. Time Walk. I don't know. Do I want a second Oracle? I could Gush, and I could play a Lotus and Consign. Does that work? So I Gush, I'm going to draw 2 cards. I draw Consign and Black Lotus. Yeah, I think that does work. Lotus? Can I win right now with this? So I put Gush on top. I'm going to Gush into Black Lotus, and I'm going to Gush into Consign. I'm going to cast Black Lotus. I'm going to play a land. I'm going to Consign the trigger from the Lotus, and then I am going to preordain into Thassa's Oracle and win. I believe that wins. Let's see how bad I screw this up, guys. Now look, if they have Trap here, there's not much I can do about that. Let's see if I can make it work, guys. I think this works. All right. A little bit slow, but it did work. Okay, guys, here we are in round 4. We have won the die roll. Okay. I mean, we've got 3 cards, 4 cards that fuel a dig through time here. We're going to get some card selection between Mishra's Bauble and Misty Rainforest or Flooded Strand here. I think this is reasonable. No Lurrus revealed. So let's see. We're looking for a Doomsday here. I don't think we want that. I guess it's really a byproduct of what we're playing against here. I'm probably going to take my guards down and fetch here. And go into an Undercity Sewers. Get 2 abilities to potentially filter here. Don't think I want that. Okay. Double force up now, and we can cast a frog next turn. Oops. Now, of note, we could Dark Ritual into a Lurrus, not this turn, but the following as well. But what I'm looking for here is a blue card. Well, let's do this. I am going to cast a Psychic Frog here. This does not make sense to do it now. So one of the things I am concerned about here is if we were playing against something like Oath of Druids, I could be putting myself into, well, let's do this now. Let's look at ourselves here. Is there a blue card? There is not. So the question I have is, do we want to actually play this frog out? I feel like I just got to gamble here. Obviously disappointing to find another land here, but we will be able to dig through time next year, one next turn perhaps. Basic island, interesting. Okay. I guess they take dig here. Blue card, please. That was actually a really good draw. So let's get in here first. So allow me to leave one of my baubles in the yard. And I'm going to proactively delve here. And if they want to pick a fight, I think that's fine because we have the Flusterstorm, and then we will be able to likely get into something for our force to be able to protect from what it is they're doing. We'll see. Now, they could have a number of things that are not good for us here. Okay, so we found a Doomsday and we found a Force of Will. I think those are the cards we're looking for. So I do think I'm going to Flusterstorm here. It is possible that they have their own Flusterstorm here, but I can set up a win quite easily next turn if they don't force my hand here. So they do indeed have their own Flusterstorm here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to force back. And the reason being is that if they get me with Force of Will on the return and they take my Doomsday here, what we can do is we can Dark Ritual into Lurrus, cast Lurrus, and start bobbling to get ahead. And I like that. So do I force this? I feel like I do. It's really aggressive, but they still have 5 cards in hand here. I mean, the question I have is, do I need to do that? Like, do I just Dark Ritual into Lurrus and start drawing? But I can win the game right now if they don't have more counter magic. I think that's what I'm going to do. And if they counter it, I mean, so be it. Maybe I didn't need to force there. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I do believe they're playing Oath of Druids here. Okay, Oath of Druids. Once again, I do feel like we are looking to combo. Perhaps I could see wanting a Thoughtseize, probably a little more on the play than on the draw, but let's see if we can fit it. And a negation, perhaps. Now, Daze is probably not great on the draw. I think I like this. All right, look, I don't think that this is great, but it has a couple things going for it. I do have the ability to stop a turn one Oath. In addition to that, if I don't need to do, well, if I do that, then I get to untap and I get to cast Thoughtseize, and then I can, try and set something up with an Undercity Sewers, draw Ponder and moving towards Lurrus. It's not a terrible plan. Obviously, I wish it was a little more combo centric, but I believe that can change very quickly in this deck. My gut is to counter this. This puts them into too much territory, like stock up and show and tell, and um, me being able to potentially strip the card out of their hand with Thoughtseize, and now they've got to play up to 3 mana is not insignificant. I mean, there's a number of things that could go wrong here, but I feel like that was a pretty reasonable place to put my counter down. And it was indeed. So, what do I care about here? Oath of Druids really doesn't do anything against this deck unless they find an orchard. I do think Demonic Tutor is a dangerous card, though. So I'm going to take Demonic Tutor. And if they don't find land, I think that really works in our favor. If they do, we're probably going to lose. This is going to be a filter land here, a surveil land. Let's hope they bin it. They kept it on top. So that is a land likely, and it means they're right into Oath of Druids. Brutal. Okay, that was far worse than a land. Pretty disappointing. Filter lands are pretty good, guys. Now they can cast an Oath of Druids. With an Orchard, with Force Up likely. Because they can take the enchantment to go with the Force of Will. But let's see if they make a mistake here. Omniscience. Force of Will. Sapphire. No Abrupt Decay. No Pearl. They kept Omniscience. No Consign. And they took an Orchard. No Boseiju. And they took Stock Up. Wow, that's a really good hit. Okay. I don't want to concede immediately here. But I think my chances of winning this are quite slim. I'm not too upset about this, guys. Like, from a variance perspective, I liked taking the Demonic Tutor here. They hit a 1 of off the top of their Hedge Maze here, which literally was the only card in their deck that could have accomplished this play that has made this game spiral out of control. So what I'm trying to say is it was very low prevalence, and I think we had a plan, and would have been interesting to see if we could have played towards that plan had they not found that Lotus. Okay, so let's take a peek here. Probably needs to be something like Flusterstorm. I don't think I want that. Like, I think it literally has to be Flusterstorm is the way I get out of this. And if I find a Flusterstorm, okay, Gush is decent. So we'll have to do it the next turn. But if my opponent taps out for Oath of Druids here, and we float 2 black, Gush. No, how does that work? No, we'd have to Doomsday, then Flusterstorm. No, then we could Gush, but they're probably going to just counter the Doomsday straight up. Okay, what is this? Oh, this is Omniscience that they're going to show and tell in. Okay, stock up. I have no choice but to live with that. I don't think they should have 2 forests here. I just think I missed clicking one. I do have 3 Flusterstorms in my deck. It's not crazy that I could rip one. Obviously, percentage-wise, it's low, but it's still there. Okay. Okay. Flusterstorm doesn't even do anything here. The problem is if I play the Doomsday first, they're just going to counter it, right? But what can I demonic consultation for that gets me out of this situation here? Because Flusterstorm does not help. Do we demonic consultation for anything here? No, let's try and rip an Oracle. Ha! A little bit too late, unfortunately. So I can go to 10. I don't have card draw anymore. That's the issue. Well, let's see if we can do the Oracle next turn. I do have it set up. Once again, if they tap down here, I think we have a reasonable chance of winning. But if they don't tap down, we are going to lose for sure. We're going to cast something here. Cast an oath. Come on. Another. Okay. I just have to hope my opponent is complacent here and just knows that they're dominating me. I can't be a time walk. They've already played their land. Hopefully they don't put a Mox or anything. There's a whole bunch of things that have to go right for me in this situation. But I'm going to demonic consultation first. Maybe not, actually. 7 cards. They could have double force here. Okay. This increases my storm count here. So if they force of will, it's not optimal. Maybe I should have consultationed in response there. Okay, here comes the force. Now I think I consult in response. So they've kept the omniscience. We just have to hope that they don't have another force of will in hand and that they can't beat Fluster. This is what we've played towards here. So still 7 cards in their hand. No, here we go, guys. Oh, they have Veil. Yep. That does work. All right. I like how we played that. Like, very interesting. I do think I want Days back in here when we're on the play. I also like Thoughtseize a lot more on the play. Now I think we're just far more focused on trying to combo my opponent. I think you could also cut Psychic Frog here. So I could have a turn 1 Lurrus. Cast Force, but I don't really like that. This is much better. I think I'll put a Dig Through Time away. Should I put a Consultation away? Opponent mulliganing as well. How about a Black Lotus? Okay, very nice. Big show and tell here. Geez, that's really good against my days. The reason being because as they have fluster here, I can still get on top of them that way. Now, of course, that backfired greatly for me. Would have much rather had the dig. Just brutal, guys. I don't really want double Oracle, and it means I have to draw it. Shuffle. Much better. Interesting timing there. Card on top. Okay, that's kind of scary. I feel like this one's sneaking away from us here a little bit. Recall. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. No, that's a Black Lotus and an Ancestral that they hit off. Two of their hedge mazes there. They've been hitting quite well. So we do have a chance here. Next turn, potentially. But post Ancestral, I don't really like my chances, but and I go back to that game one, and perhaps I should have mulliganed that hand with the 4 lands in it. Yep, pretty scary here. Very likely to be able to play around my days here with a hard cast force, but Let's see. It is in. Interesting. Okay, they're just going to hard cast 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hard cast on Atraxa next turn. Show and tell. Don't really like that. Force of will. Wow. Are they flooded? The Sage. Okay. Draw my Flusterstorm here. All my soft permission here. None of it's looking phenomenal right now, but I think they're flooded. Uh-oh. That is Atraxa, folks. Does playing Thassa's Oracle even do anything for me here? 3, 6, 7. That would leave them 3 mana. I can force and then fluster. I'm going to draw a card here. If it's another force will or negation, that's really good. It's a tough spot. They're hard casting it. Okay. They're going to give me a token here? 5, 6. Yep. Looks like it. Maybe they're opting to tap their Lotus now. I mean, I think they should get rid of their Lotus, but giving me a token is dangerous. So I know 3 of their 4 cards. 2 of them do not do anything. So I have to dodge a Flusterstorm here. Show and tell. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 7 casting cost, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So it is my belief that they are going to attempt to hard cast Atraxa. The problem is I cannot rely on days to get it because they have a Boseiju in hand. What I could do is I could daze it. They pay 1, but I'll be able to do that anyways. This is really tough. I'm going to daze. Build my fluster count up here. Yeah, I'm in a bad spot. I shouldn't have dazed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, they paid for it. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I needed that daze. So what happens if I fluster here? Then they're just going to pay it? And then I have to fluster, or then I have to force it, and then they untap and hardcast Atraxa next turn. Yeah, I really blew it by using that daze there, eh? And I brought a land back to my hand. They can just hardcast Atraxa now. This is awful. Had I played not done that to the days, I might have been all right. I should have just flustered. Yeah, I threw this game away, unfortunately. Yep. Major punt on my part. I was feeling really good too. I mean, we're not 100% dead here, but that was really a suboptimal use of my days. And I don't know that I actually had a proper way to play around that. Feel free to leave comments, guys. But I was just in a tricky spot because I knew the Beseju was there. So had I flusterstormed immediately, made them pay 2, I still would have had to have forced, but at least their mana would have been tied up. So that was the mistake. The good news for me is I'm still drawing some cards. They did not find a Force of Will, but they found a Time Walk, which is going to be quite effective against me. They played a land this turn. They found a Mox, which actually does turn on. Mox, Oath, Atraxa, Time Walk. Okay. Well, they didn't take the Veil. Yep. Well, that was a bit of a bungle, wasn't it, guys? It does get in front. Probably should target myself here. Misty Rainforest, I definitely don't want that. I think I'm going to play a Psychic Frog here. Okay, here we go. Had I not dazed that land back, that's really big because next turn I could potentially win. I mean, I still could, but it just depends. They're going to hardcast an Atraxa here. Yep. Yep. Can't stop it. Time is starting to become an issue for my opponent here. Thoughtseize, Delta, Force of Will. Cannot stop it. I think we might get this one on time here, guys. Not optimal. I have to tell you, though, I've really been enjoying the play patterns of Let's fill my yard here a bit more before I lose this. Of this deck. It's just so thought-provoking. Oh, interesting. They're just F6 here. I like casting Psychic Frog here. Right? Yeah. Okay. A little bit of a disappointing finish. Obviously, we didn't want to win the game that way, and I would have really liked to have seen if we were able to pull this out, and it is my belief that we may have been able to do it. Obviously, that last turn for us was suboptimal in how we handled that, and I did not want to return the land back with my days. I don't think I could have necessarily stopped the Atraxa from coming into play, but losing the land for no reason was significant, and having the free counterspell the following turn could have been backbreaking for my opponent when they were more or less tapped out. Okay, let's see if we can win a trophy, guys. Okay, guys, here we are in round 5, playing for a trophy. And we're going to have dueling Lurrus here. Unfortunately, we did not win the die roll. But I think this hand has some merit on the draw. Obviously, playing into Spell Pierce with our Mox is pretty suspect, but oh no! That's so bad, guys. Okay. Well, if we draw a land, it's totally fine, but if we don't, it's obviously fairly daunting. We have not played against Lurrus Control this league. Okay. They did have a Mox. Okay. Pretty good start. All right, that ended up working out. A little bit of a close one there, but we do have a Doomsday win next turn. They didn't have counter magic there. Yeah, well, they might now. Yeah, that's a good one. That Ancestral was fairly backbreaking on their part there. Our Ancestral kept us in the game. So they just pull Lurrus and Wasteland me here. Let's see. We're looking for a black mana off the top. Okay. The Psychic Frogs are looking really bad here. I could go for a kill here. I can't do it right now, but I can set the kill up for next turn. The problem is that a wasteland could be pretty rough for me here. I could also Doomsday or Dark Ritual into Demonic Tutor. Go. Okay, so this looks like a hard cast Force of Will here, guys. So how do I do this? I don't actually have any card draw. I have to be honest. I wonder if Black Lotus doesn't really help me here. I do have Force. I feel like they have a hard cast Force here, but it's very easily they have Swords to Plowshares too. But I feel like I'm just going to cast a Psychic Frog here. The other option is I cast a Dark Ritual, Demonic Tutor for something. I don't hate that. It's obviously a higher prevalence of me getting countered, but I think that's okay. So there is the Spell Pierce. And let's hope they don't have a Swords here, guys. And they do indeed have a Swords here. I think I can still win through a Bowmaster. I'm at 19 life here. They are going to get to draw a couple cards here between their upkeep here, and the Psychic Frog. But Lurrus. Brutal. Just brutal. No, we need a blue source here. I'm not even sure how I get out of this, but so it'd be Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. And I'd have to draw a land. Or I'll take Consultation, Flooded Strand. I think we're going to have to get really lucky here. They're just drawing too many cards, but we have a chance. I guess I could have not taken the land and gotten, but Vampiric Tutor just takes my draw away. So I'm just kind of like, if I can, yeah, I think that's okay. If I can find an Oracle off the top, I potentially could have a win. If I don't get wastelanded or they don't have a force. What are they discarding here? So they're just coming in for a kill. So they are probably hellbent here. All right. Let's take 30 seconds to think this through here. What if I Vampiric Tutor? Vampiric Tutor for Gush. That doesn't do anything. I don't know that there's an intuitive line here for me to do this. I mean, I could Vampiric Tutor, go down to 4. I could fetch down to 3, or like put a Gush on top, fetch down to 3. I could Gush. That will put me down to 1. And I guess the only thing that I can do is hit like Black Lotus and an Oracle off that Gush, and that's just so low prevalence. I think I'm just going to draw. And we died. Right? Like, I can consult for what? Okay. Probably don't need a negation. I think I want these. I want to play like a Thoughtseize maybe? So that's 3 I have to cut. Maybe a bubble. I don't know, guys. I don't know how people that play this deck feel in this matchup. I think it's probably pretty close from my perspective on the other side of the table. But it is a juke, and you have to figure out what the best way to attack your opponent is. All right. Not a great hand, but we're somewhat wasteland proof. And of course, being able to take their creatures out of the game is no small thing. Geez, they got me both with that probe both games here. Probe is so powerful. See, this is where my inexperience really comes in. That last game, like, I don't know if there was a line there for me, but I couldn't think of one. I felt like we just had to get a bit lucky, and maybe doing the Gush line was just really my best out. Drawing 2 cards is better than 1, so it probably was. Play to your outs. Okay. I am unfortunately going to have to use my Undercity Sewers here, expose it to Wasteland. Could be interesting. Play Lurrus here. So they're going to have some mana up here to try and counter my unable to scream, but I wouldn't mind a Flusterstorm here. There it is. Well, I just let it go. Okay. Don't think I want to play my Lurrus here. It's very possible they've got a frog coming down. Like, I don't know that Lavinia is doing enough to really make me want to do anything here. It's grotesquely unmana efficient, but like, what if they drop a frog on me? That's really rough. They are going to wasteland me here. Yeah, I just don't want to put an unable to scream on Lavinia right at the moment. Like, is there anything I want to consult for? Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Double wasteland seems solid. I do not anticipate this to resolve, but like, what would I even get? What happened? Have I used my recall this game? I just milled my whole library out. Oops. What happened? Oh, it was probably in the first 6. Okay. Well, that was bad luck. Pretty anticlimactic way to finish our league, guys, but All right. Okay. So a little bit of bad luck there that the ancestral recall was in the first six cards. I was confused. I forget about that clause on demonic consultation, as I obviously don't play the card a ton, and a little bit of low variance that it was in those top six cards. But that said, we milled ourselves out, and I don't know if we're going to win that anyways, but it would have been nice to have a chance to do so, as it's pretty neat when you're able to combo your opponent out. And I think we did that a couple times in this league. Obviously, the combo portion of this deck is my deficiency versus being able to play control and beat down. But I really did like the way the deck played, and it's got some cool play patterns. And I think with playing this a little bit more, I could see myself becoming quite a bit more proficient at knowing what to do in certain spots. And yeah, very powerful deck. I think it is definitely one of the top contenders in the metagame right now. And yeah, definitely feel free to leave me some comments, guys, on this and some of the lines that you would have taken over me. I'm obviously interested to learn people's perspectives about this, and yeah, perhaps we'll try this again sometime. Yeah, guys, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. We'll see you next time.